And what up, everybody, it's Anime Junkie, and today we're doing What If Deku Had Lost Powers as a Quirk Part 2, and now let's get to the intro.
I've always liked to play with fire.
Okay guys, this is a short message. This What If is not going to be on my channel. It is going to be on KïDD's channel because this is a collaboration, and if you want to watch part 3, it's going to be on his channel. So there is a channel link in the description below.
Yo, what's up guys? KïDD here. Yeah, and this is going to be a small little quick summary. Last time we left off on this What If, Deku had actually just passed the entrance exam. And, you know, we all also established a few things in different relationships as well as his personality. And yeah, so now that the summary is over, let's start the story. Okay, we start the story off with Deku 2 weeks after his exam, or 2 weeks after he passed the exams. And now he's going to be going to UA. And well, once he gets there, he sees this huge door. Not really nervous, more just basically taking it all in. He walks through the door and he hears Ida basically scolding Bakugo about his tie. Once he sees this, he's just sitting there and thinking, wait, that's the kid that was yelling at me about muttering before. Well, even though he's not really yelling at him now, so he's going to stay out of it. And as he walks to his desk, he pretty much just puts his hat over his face and puts, you know, basically falls asleep. Everyone is all looking at him, and, you know, pretty much they all notice that that's Izuku Midoriya, the kids who got first in both the theory and practical exam. And, you know, Ida would actually kind of just turn from Bakugo and goes to try and scold Deku, which is not a good idea, but he does it anyways. Even with all the other kids basically telling him and signaling him not to, he does it anyway, so yeah. As he wakes up Deku gets up and he basically intimidates Ida pretty much, and basically Ida will say, you would basically you don't look like a hero. And well, Deku would say, what? And Ida would then, you know, basically somewhat nervously say, well, you're not supposed to sleep in class. It's rude. And then Deku would look around, and then he would look back at Ida. Are you the teacher? Then Ida would say, well, no, but then you don't have any right to tell me what to do. Well, and after he says this, Deku goes right back to sleep. And Ida gets obviously annoyed by this, but then he, you know, tries to wake him up again. But before he can do that, he, you know, Aizawa walks in and everyone basically gets to their seats. But then Aizawa notices that Deku's sleeping, not really caring much about it or anything, because let's just say that Deku is still kind of aware. But anyways, he then says, basically knowing his pain, he says whatever. And Ida would actually try to interject, saying, you're not going to say anything to him about this? With that being said, you know, pretty much he would say, this ruffian is here pretty much disrespecting the school and you won't even say anything? Bakugo would then chime in, hello? You're kind of an asshole, aren't you? What did you say? You heard me, Four Eyes. You don't even know this kid and you want to bother him. Not everyone wants to be have the same school experience as you. Which, you know, Aizawa then pretty much interrupts, and let's just say, he then begins to tell everyone to just put on these gym uniforms that he had, and, you know, that he just grabbed out of his sleeping bag or whatever, and he would pretty much just, you know, tell everyone to get ready, that they're going to be taking a fitness exam. After this, you know, everyone would just, you know, basically get ready, and pretty much, you know, he would then basically, you know, everyone would get ready. Deku would also get into there, but he would still be wearing the little hat, you know, because he does have Law's kind of hat, little puffy hat, with the same little jacket that Law wears. And he also carries around his sword too, which everyone would all be kind of confused at on why he has a weapon. But yeah, Deku, Deku would kind of explain anytime somebody asks him about it. It actually helps him with his quirk, so yeah. But anyways, with that being said, everyone would then, pretty much get into, their uniforms and all meet outside.
Now, if you're wondering why Ida is being a jerk to Deku, is because Deku doesn't want to listen to anyone but a teacher and no one else, so he wants the teacher to straighten him out. So he doesn't have any negative feelings towards him, he just wants him to follow the rules just like everyone else. Everyone walks out and Aizawa asks Deku why he has a sword, and Deku just explains that he can use the sword with his quirk, so that is exactly why he has the sword. Then Aizawa tells Deku to put it away because he won't need the sword because it's the fitness exam. So after that, he calls up Deku for the ball throw, and Deku goes up, and this is what he does. He creates a room and then he uses tact ability and spins the ball around inside the room, accelerating it so much where it goes into the air and it goes flying, and he gets 3,000 meters. Everybody's shocked at the score, including Aizawa, and Deku just walks away. Now let's move on to the 50-meter dash. The largest room Deku can create without getting tired is 55 meters, and he increased it from 50 meters to 55 in the 2 weeks he had after passing the entrance exam. Before the race starts, Deku puts his sword at the end of the finish line, and then when Aizawa is counting down, he creates his room, completely covering the entire racetrack and then switching places with his sword. He instantly gets first place and wins. Now the long jump. He creates a room of 55 meters and then just teleports there and ends up getting 55 meters. Now the only test that Deku doesn't do good on is the grip test because his grip strength isn't that good and he can't really use his broom for it. So that is exactly why he failed that test. Now you guys probably already know the outcome of the fitness exam. If you don't know, it is first place for Deku. And now let's move on to the hero versus villain combat assessment with All Might. Now everybody comes out with their hero costumes, and the hero costume that Deku has is up on the screen right now. I can't really explain it because it's complicated. Now Deku would be paired up with Uraraka and would be versing Ida and Bakugo, and in an instant Deku would cover the entire building with his room and then would use his search ability for looking for the bomb, and then he would throw his sword up and then he would make the bomb switch places with the sword. And Bakugo is about to leave the room to look for Deku, but then he sees the bomb switch places with Deku's sword, and then he would get mad, and even All Might would stutter. He's like, I think it's over. The hero team wins. Bakugo is really angry. Ida isn't really angry. He goes up to Deku after that and said, "Good job, you beat me," and Bakugo fair and square, and he walks away. Now let's move on to the USJR. Now everybody would get there and they would meet 13, and 13 would explain what USJ means and all that stuff. Unforeseen simulation joined. They would go inside and 13 would be explaining everything inside the USJ and what it stands for. And while that was happening, Aizawa sees a purple portal in the middle of the USJ and villains start coming out of there, and Aizawa immediately knows what this is, and it is a villain attack. So he would tell 13 to protect the kids and take care of these kids, and he would rush in there fighting all the villains. And then 13 creates a plan for Ida to run out there and get the pros. Deku would immediately know how to do that. He would throw his sword using his tact ability out of the roof of the USJ building, and then he would make the sword and Ida switch places, and Ida would be outside and he would start running immediately when he realizes where he is. Then Korogiri would appear and would try to take the students and teleport them to different areas. 13 would try to attack it with his or her black hole ability, and then 13 would get injured again, and Deku would use his tact ability to get Korogiri out of there. So this time the students aren't teleported and 13 is still badly injured like in canon, but this time not for long. Everyone is wondering what to do, and then Deku would tell them to calm down, and he would use his room ability on 13 and instantly heal her or him, and he would be back into action, or her would be back into action. I still don't know her gender, so please forgive me. After healing 13, he would jump into the fight with Aizawa, and then he would cover the entire battlefield except Shigaraki, the Nomu, and Korogiri because they're too far out, and he would use his shambles ability to make every villain go into shambles and just mess them up really bad. The only people who weren't affected by this shamble technique would be Aizawa, 13, all the other students that were inside the room, and Shigaraki, Korogiri, and the Nomu. Now there are other villains, but they're in different areas of the USJ, like in the water or the shipwreck zone, because that is not in the main battlefield area and different areas in the USJ. Then Shigaraki would be mad at this and would tell the Nomu to charge at Deku. Right then, Aizawa would cancel the quirk of the Nomu and it would make it slower. This allows Deku to use his stethoscope ability on the Nomu, and he would find out that this Nomu is not human. And then he would also find out where his heart and brain is. I mean, it's pretty obvious where his brain is. Then he would use his scalpel ability to take out the heart of the Nomu and crush it in an instant. Nomu falls and coughs out blood, but then Aizawa stops using his quirk on him because Shigaraki ended up attacking Aizawa, so he couldn't really keep cancelling his quirk out. The Nomu starts regenerating and Deku knows the only way to kill it is by its brain, and then he uses his scalpel ability to trap the brain and squish it, and the Nomu is finally dead. Shigaraki is really mad at this and he ends up charging at Deku, but then Kurogiri knows that we don't know anything about this kid's quirk, and if he ends up putting that same attack on Shigaraki, he will definitely die, and we need to keep Shigaraki safe. That is exactly what All For One told me. So he would teleport Shigaraki and himself out of there, and Aizawa would ask Deku what he did and why did he kill that thing. Deku would explain his stethoscope ability and tell Aizawa that thing wasn't really human, so it was alright to kill it. After that, All Might and all the other pro heroes with Ida come in the USJ and they take down all the other villains over there with the help of Todoroki and other students, and they take care of the situation very well thanks to Deku and his shambles ability. After that, Nezu would explain to everyone that they have one day off tomorrow because we need to investigate this issue in UA, so everybody would go home and Deku would also go home. And that is it, guys. I hope you guys like this What If series. If you want to watch part 3, go to the link in the description below and go to KïDD channel because he's amazing. And if you like Marvel and DC comics, he does a lot of Deku Marvel and DC crossover what ifs, so he is amazing with that too. So if you like that stuff, go to KïDD channel and he's amazing. And if you want to watch a Deku Apocalypse what if, there is a what if on that channel too, and it's amazing. I personally love it and I can't wait for part 3 to come out. So yeah, I'm also a fan of his channel, so you should go check him out. And if you guys like this what if series, make sure to hit the like button because it really does help your channel out. Hit the subscribe button to join the family, and as always, Anime Junkie out.